Did you rinse this morning? If you did, your mouth will thank you. Listerine doesn't just wake up your senses. It doesn't just put a spring in your step. It's also proven to reduce gingivitis up to 36% and plaque up to 70%. Germs never take a day off, and neither should you. Start your day with a fresher, healthier mouth. Say goodbye to germs. And say good morning to Listerine.
You're watching the NFC Champion Saints postgame show on Fox 8.
Saints owner Tom Benson doing his trademark second line boogie that he vowed he would not do until we reached the Super Bowl.
You know, it was great to see my old friend Chris Myers, who's with Fox Sports, who Chris worked here for so many years, be the one who was involved in the trophy presentation. And one of the points Chris made when I spoke with him the other day is that a lot of the Fox people who normally would jump on the first plane out of town were staying an extra day because they knew New Orleans and the Saints and the whole history, and they just wanted to feel what it would be like to be here and experience this in the city.
And we've all imagined what would New Orleans be like if we got to the Super Bowl, and I think they lived up to expectations.
We're having a collective body out-of-body experience here, where you're sort of saying, oh, that's what it would be like. Wait, this is what it's like.
Exactly. Let's go back to John Henry Smith in the Dome.
Well, thanks a lot, Nancy. And one of the stars of the defensive line for the Saints this year has been defensive end Will Smith, a guy that many people thought should have gotten Pro Bowl recognition, did not, and heck, he wouldn't be playing it anyway because he's got other fish to fry, as in the Super Bowl down in Miami. After the game, we caught up with Mr. Will Smith.
To you, having been a long-time member of this franchise, to help take this franchise to somewhere it's never been?
Man, words can't define how I feel. It just feels great just to be a part of this. When I got here, franchise wasn't doing so well, up and down, and you know, once Coach Peyton got here, he kind of changed the culture, and now here we are in the Super Bowl. So it's been a long road, but I'm happy that it's paid off, and now we got one more game to win.
Well, I don't think you guys had any sacks, but you hit Favre a lot. I mean,
yeah, we got to him a lot. We thought if we can hit him a lot, and he'll start making mistakes. And see, a couple balls he threw, a couple of them should have been interceptions, but we dropped it, and then a couple of them we did get interceptions. So we just wanted to keep coming after him, keep hitting him, trying to make him feel as uncomfortable as possible. And then after he got hurt, he couldn't move the way he was moving the first half.
You see the cumulative effect of hitting him that much? I mean, as the game wore on.
Yeah, it wasn't no love taps. He was getting hit pretty hard. You know, we got a couple penalties, but you know, we just didn't care. We was just gonna keep going out, playing hard, running to the ball. If we get a chance to hit him legally, we was gonna take that legal hit.
You were willing to sacrifice penalties, or?
No. You're never willing to sacrifice. It's a judgmental call. It's up to the officials. So we just wanted to go out there and play hard and try to hit him as much as possible, just to try to disturb his rhythm. We felt that's the only thing that could rattle him. Any coverages, the defenses, he even seen it all. So and we thought if we get to him just by hitting him, will affect him, and I think it worked today.
Well, did you watch the field goal kick? What were you doing when Garrett was out there?
Well, I was right there. I was right there, had the perfect bird's eye view, and just watching it. And you know, I knew after he missed the kick early in the year, he felt so bad, and you know, he's been waiting for this opportunity. I was just happy to see that, you know, he took advantage of it and won the game and sent us to the Super Bowl.
First NFC Championship in team history. What does it mean to this city to have something like this happen?
It means a lot, man. Just this whole week has just been unbelievable. Just driving around town, just the electricity in the city, just so many people just excited. I think the fans were more nervous than we were. So it just means so much to them. I know they're going to be partying for the next 2 weeks to the Super Bowl.
Boy, in a night of just tremendous efforts from so many Saints players, and you can go on down the line from Drew Brees to Pierre Thomas, that touchdown Reggie Bush scored in the fourth quarter where he caught the ball and then just willed his way over the pylon certainly was an iconic moment from the 31-28 win the Saints over the Minnesota Vikings. Afterwards, Reggie Bush was so excited to talk about the game that he didn't even bother taking off his uniform when he got to the podium.
You know what? For anybody who thinks we earned this win today, they couldn't have been watching the same game we were. You know, this is one of the toughest games I think I've played in to date. And I'm not just saying that because we won and we're going to the Super Bowl. But this was such an up and down game. This was a roller coaster game. You know, it seemed like no call was going our way, you know, for 99% of that game. And then finally we got a few calls to go our way towards the end. And, you know, with all I mean, they must have had like 8 fumbles. And I felt like they got 7 of them back, you know, but, you know, it's just one of those games, man, where you can never give up because you don't know what's going to happen. You know, Jimmy Johnson came and spoke to our team, you know, towards the end of the week, and he told us, you know, you can't prepare for one thing because you never know what's going to happen in these types of games. You know, all you can do is try to prepare yourself for everything and just take it as it comes. You know, whatever happens in the game, just take it for what it is and try to, you know, do whatever you can to win the game. And you know, like I said, with all the things that happened in this game today, you know, it was just such an emotional game, you know, for us.
Hey, could you talk about also the decision to try to catch the punt that you fumbled, and then the way you were able to bounce back and make some plays?
You know what, I knew their punter wasn't going to give me too many balls to return, and you know, I felt like that punt, you know, when I saw him hit it, I felt like he kind of shortchanged it. But I guess one of their guys, you know, got down the field fast enough to you know, disrupt me catching the ball. And, you know, once I caught it, you know, I mean, once I seen it, I thought I had enough space to make a move. And, you know, obviously I didn't. And it's a gut-wrenching feeling, you know, when that happens. And, you know, I don't care what game you're playing in. You know, it can be a preseason game. You know, it's still a gut-wrenching feeling. And, you know, it's true that, you know, this is a team game. And, you know, it takes all 53 guys to win this game. And it took us every inch, every player on this team to win this game today.
Reggie, were you surprised that y'all won the turnover ratio decidedly, but still only won the game by 3 points?
Yeah. You know what? One of the things that we preach all the time is turnovers, and turnovers are one of the key statistics in winning games. And you know, with all the turnovers that they had and fumbles, like I said, it felt like I felt like they had 1,000 fumbles and like they got all of them back, you know, and they were scoring points off of it, and it was like, God dang, you know, if we could just get one of those, you know, and you know, we ended up getting some turnovers that were key in this victory, and you know, unfortunately, you know, we weren't able to produce as many points as we would have liked to off of those, you know, some of those turnovers, but nevertheless, you know, here we are with the W, going to the Super Bowl, and you know, we're one step closer to our goal.
What'd you think of how y'all's defense played tonight?
You know what? Without our defense, to me, was the main reason why we're here, why we're going to the Super Bowl. You know, the way they played today, with all the, you know, all the BS that they've taken, you know, throughout the season and especially towards the end of the season, you know, they played like absolute monsters today. And you know, with all the turnovers that they forced today, you know, it just words can't describe, you know, the way they played. And you know, obviously they're the reason why we're here. But you know, through our game planning this week, you know, we preach ball security because the Minnesota Vikings had actually forced a lot of turnovers, especially fumbles this year. I think they led the league in forced fumbles. So we were obviously very well aware of that, and we tried to do our part, and it just so happened that, you know, we got all the turnovers.
Thanks, Ray.
All right.
Reggie Bush talking after the Saints' 31-28 win over the Minnesota Vikings tonight. So now let's toss it back now to you, John and Nancy.
All right, thanks, John Henry. You know, the party has relocated from the Superdome down to the other end of Poydras Street.
And Shelley Brown's got that live.
Yes, we're right outside of Harris Casino. We're on the air live, guys. They've been waiting to come on. We're right at South Peters and Poydras because we actually could not get to Canal Street. New Orleans police have it blocked off in several locations. So many people, so much traffic trying to head down there. These ladies, Simone, Javon, and Lanice, you guys were watching from a big screen at home, but you came out to celebrate with the rest of the community.
Because we love the here going to college, and I love the Saints. I love Reggie, and I love Marcus Colston, and I love Shockey, and I love all of you Saints. I love you guys. You guys did good. We're going to Miami. Black and gold to the Super Bowl. Black and gold to the Super Bowl.
Our crowd is growing here. As soon as you turn the lights on and the camera comes on, everybody just flock to us. But John and Nancy, boy, I tell you, the party seems to just get started. I don't know, is anybody going to work tomorrow?
We're not going to work, we're not going to school, we're not going to work, we're not doing nothing.
It's a national holiday. We can't be seen.
New Orleans Saints going to the Super Bowl. It should be a national holiday.
National holiday.
National.
Saints go to Super Bowl.
Very national.
I'll be in class, though, on time. XU, Xavier University. From Mardi Gras to the Super Bowl. Yeah!
Only the strong survive.
Yeah. And we did finish strong tonight for as far as the city goes and the Saints. The Houdat Nation. John and Nancy will send it back to you.
Shelley Brown in the middle of the Houdat Nation.
She looks a little like Favre being rushed, you know?
You think that holiday thing will fly for us?
Well, the problem is it'll fly for some bosses. It just depends on how high up the food chain you can go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We are told, by the way, that we have some exciting new video from Bourbon Street, and we'll have that for you coming up as we continue our post-game rolling on as the celebration rolls on tonight.
Champagne, black and gold, ain't never looked better than it does now. Western MC's march into history. The Bayou Boys gonna lead us to victory. And tell you right now, it's gonna be bigger than anything we've been through before. There's a big thing happening here in New Orleans, and it feels so good to know it's our time to win. And they ain't just marching, though they're thundering in. 'Cause the Saints on Fox 8, yeah, the Saints are getting ready for the big thing. Hey, everybody getting all up for the big game. Downtown, uptown, city is insane. Hope shakes his game, Saints already this time.
I don't know what I did before GPS. Turn left ahead. Actually, I got lost a lot. Now I just follow the steps and I can get anywhere I want to go. TurboTax lets me do my taxes the same way. Its unique GPS feature guides me step by step, searching over 350 deductions. So I get everything I deserve, which helps me know it's done right and gets me right to my maximum refund. Guaranteed.
Try TurboTax online now. You don't pay unless you're satisfied with the results.
Right now, all over the country, Discover customers are getting 5% cashback bonus on travel. It pays to get more. It pays to Discover.
I need pain relief that won't mess with my grip.
The new Icy Hot No Mess Applicator. Massages in long-lasting relief for shoulders, knees, backs, even arthritis. Icy to dull pain, hot to relax it away. Icy Hot No Mess Applicator.
No pain, no mess.
Winter can be beautiful. And now winter skin can be too. Discover relief from dry, uncomfortable skin with Skin Relief Moisturizing Lotion. Only Aveeno has an Active Naturals Triple Oat and Shea Butter formula that soothes, nourishes, and restores moisture. Women saw improvement in all 5 symptoms of winter skin in just 1 day. Beauty you can see and feel. That's being comfortable in your own skin. Aveeno Skin Relief. And try Aveeno Baby Soothing Relief for baby's dry skin this winter. Aveeno, that's the beauty of nature and science.
Did you rinse this morning? If you did, your mouth will thank you. Listerine doesn't just wake up your senses. It doesn't just put a spring in your step. It's also proven to reduce gingivitis up to 36% and plaque up to 70%. Germs never take a day off, and neither should you. Start your day with a fresher, healthier mouth. Say goodbye to germs. And say good morning to Listerine.
Of all the things made just for men, maybe one of the most important is Centrum Ultra Men's, a complete multivitamin for men. It has antioxidants to help support your immunity and nutrients like vitamin D for your colon. Centrum Ultra Men's.
Welcome to Glad TV. Thanks, Skylar.
Let's go to last night's highlights. There's Mom and Dad cleaning up. And there's the meatloaf. Yuck. Look what sometimes happens with the ordinary bag. It flips, oh, bingo, falls in. Mom was mad. Mom should have used Glad Force Flex with the new stretchable drawstring that grips the can and stays in place. Plus, it has the stretchable strength of Force Flex. That's all today for Glad TV. Don't get mad, get glad.
I'm Zach Street.
And I'm Heath Evans.
Our team's going to be marching into the playoffs this year.
But when we're hungry, we march into New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
My favorite is the crispy thin-fried catfish. A plate piled high with crispy thin-fried catfish, it can't be beat.
The Big Cheesy's my favorite, 8 ounces of grown man burger. I eat 2 of them.
The thin-fried catfish is number 1.
The burgers are number 1.
Thin-fried catfish.
Half-pound burgers.
Hey guys, they're both number 1.
Just like our New Orleans Saint.
And New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
Thin-fried catfish.
Rally's got wings.
Wing party!
Rally's classic wings. Crispy outside, juicy inside. Now also in 20 or 40-piece party sizes. Rally's, little place, big taste.
Fast Tax offers instant refund and one-day refund loans, and our bank has funds available for our clients. Some tax offices no longer offer refund loans, so your refund could take 2 to 3 weeks. Before you go anywhere, stop by Fast Tax. No runaround, no worries. During this economic crisis, if you want to get your money fast, go to Fast Tax to find out about your refund loan today. Don't let your check be a slow check. Think fast. Call 504-942-8000.
Fast Tax. More choices. Bigger sizes. Rally's new more for less menu. 11 big choices. Pick any 2 for just $3. The new more for less menu. Rally's, little place, big taste.
You're watching the NFC Champion Saints postgame show on Fox 8.
We're about 3.5 hours into this party now. The French Quarter absolutely erupted. I mean, instantaneously, as I'm not sure the ball had actually gone through the uprights.
I don't think so either, but they knew it was headed that way. And Natasha Robbins seen how the party has evolved so far. Natasha?
That's right, Nancy. You know, the celebration is in full swing here along Bourbon Street. It's black and gold as far as you can see. You know, I talked to a fan a little while ago who said he's afraid he'll wake up tomorrow morning and this will all be a dream. So he's decided not to go to sleep tonight. I have a feeling he isn't the only one that's thinking that way. A few minutes ago, I went down to the street myself to see exactly what it was like. We found a jazz band, and I have to admit, I did dance a little. Take a look, guys.
Vancouver, Canada, baby. Woo!
So why are you guys Saints fans up in Canada?
I love the Saints. I've been a fan of Deuce McAllister for years. About 8 years now. I followed Bush while he was coming up through USC, and I've always been a fan.
Okay, so what does tonight feel like then?
It's electric. It's unreal. I'm on cloud 9. I still can't even believe it. I'm in heaven right now.
How long do you think the party will go on tonight here on Bourbon Street?
It will go on for 2.5 months. 2.5 months. I will party hard.
Straight through Mardi Gras.
Pardon?
Straight through Mardi Gras.
Yeah, straight through Mardi Gras. All I gotta say is, go Canada, go, and go Saints, baby. Who that nation? Superdome. We in the building, baby. New Orleans Saints, baby. I was
Saints! Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints?
All right. In true New Orleans fashion, who dat?
You know, if you're going to live life, you may as well live it in an interesting place like New Orleans, because they win championships in cities all over the country, and that doesn't happen.
No celebrating will be like our celebrating. So, like the lady from the Convention and Visitors Bureau said, we're going to show them how to hold a Super Bowl celebration, that's for sure. Let's go to John Henry Smith in the Dome.
You know, Nancy, I once threw a party at my house and the guests stayed too long, so you know how I got them to leave? I turned out the lights. Guess what happened here tonight? They've turned out the lights on us. This is the first for me in my career, but I will say this. We have more sound to toss to. We actually didn't get a chance to get to Sean Payton's interview with Devery Henderson, one of the guys who scored one of the touchdowns that helped the Saints beat the Vikings 31-28.
Seems like every big moment in Louisiana sports history you're a part of, Devery. 2006, 2003, and now this.
I'm not complaining either. You know, it's just been a blessing, man. And you know, my career is, you know, it's just been a blessing. I think for any guy, and you know, I just stay humble and thank the good Lord, and hopefully, you know, more great things will happen for me.
You know, you'll have some time to digest this in the coming days, I'm sure, but that was a classic you guys played out there.
Yeah, it was. It was. You know, anytime you have a big game like that, with the close game and going into overtime, you know, it's always, you know, great, especially to be on the winning end of it.
I'm curious, how were you? Where were you positioned when Garrett was about to kick the field goal?
I was on one knee on the sidelines, and when he kicked it, I knew it was going in. I think I jumped from the sidelines all the way to the numbers. But you know, Garrett did a great job, and he was put in a position to be the hero, and he took advantage of it. And I mean, he's probably going to remember that for the rest of his life.
You know, did they do anything offensively or defensively to knock you guys off rhythm? Because I know for a little while there, they forced a few 3-and-outs and got you guys off the field.
Nah, they just played defense, and you know, they did a good job, just as ours did. You know, you can't expect to move the ball up and down the field every drive, especially in a game like this. And you know, it was just up to us to keep our poise and keep fighting.
I mean, having your defense out there quite a bit in the second half, though, was there a real sense of urgency on that first possession of overtime that, you know, we got to put this away now?
Yeah, it was, and I mean, Pierre Thomas gave us a great boost with the return. You know, I mean, I think that was a defining moment of that whole overtime. You know, I figured, you know, we make a couple first downs. I mean, we right there. You know, we're gonna put some points on the board, and that's how I looked at it. And we did just that.
You know, you talked about the Pierre Thomas. You caught the pass right before that play, the Pierre Thomas 4th-down conversion. You looked at Reggie's touchdown had to be overturned. Meacham's catch had to be, or the call was sustained. It really was a game of inches out there.
It was, and you know, a lot of calls we didn't get. We thought we might have had, but you know, I mean, I can't complain about that. You got to play ball, and I mean, for the most part, we kept fighting. You know, that's the main thing. We didn't give up, and we wanted to win. You know, I guess we just wanted it more than they did.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Devery Henderson, the leading receiver for the Saints against the Vikings. 4 catches, 39 yards, and an all-important touchdown. Again, one of the guys, this team is full of soft-spoken guys, and on a night like this, when the Saints qualify for the Super Bowl, even a guy like Devery Henderson has a lot to say about such a momentous occasion. So it's been an incredible night here at the Louisiana Superdome. We've been happy to bring you all of the guys from the Saints locker room, and boy, the next 2 weeks should be truly, truly memorable indeed. John and Nancy?
I'd say, all right, and John Henry, don't lose your place out there in the dark. I think
I'm going to stay right here. I want to make sure that someone leads me. Could we bring somebody to lead an old man off the field here so I don't bump into anything? Please.
Just reel in the cord, man.
Look at the Apollo, the Sandman's
I'll do my best not to trip over anything.
All right, there you go. John Henry Smith at the Dome. And, you know, one of the great things about television is we occasionally take you someplace you don't always get to go, and we'll take you right now down on the sidelines as this game ended. Fox 8 photographer Edwin Good with unedited video in the moments, those ecstatic, electric moments after the victory.
Yeah, and you know, you were speaking a few moments ago, and Gary Hartley apparently didn't see the ball go through the uprights, but I guess from the reaction of everybody, he knew that it was a good kick.
Right, we saw Cedric Ellis on top of a pile of guys and said, well, what is that? Okay, that's Hartley on the bottom there, and he had said, if I'm not mistaken, in his interview earlier at the podium, his press conference, that he wasn't sure exactly where it had gone through the uprights because he had, you know, he'd gotten mobbed, and you could see that, you know, it was interesting. I don't know if it got to the 20 or the 15, but the fans, the elation, the eruption began as fans realized, okay, this thing is going to be good.
And imagine being 23 years old. Everything's riding on this one kick. I mean, he's going to remember this forever.
And what a moment that is. You know, we look at Sean Payton and the success he's had, the winning tradition now that he's brought to New Orleans, and Drew Brees as if they've sort of always been there. And, you know, Brees talked about that this week. He knew very little about Sean Payton. It was a chance that he took too, and the Saints took a chance on him. He was a beat-up player. Not everybody wanted him. There were questions about, he was a very talented guy, but there were questions about, you know, whether he could come back from injury. The Saints felt he was for real. The Saints felt he had more life left in him. He came here and had this moment of looking at the city and toured around, went to devastated neighborhoods, saw trucks still on the top of debris as we saw in the months after Katrina, and thought to himself, as he put it this week, what an opportunity. And, you know, you look at some of these guys who, the Fajitas and the Reggie Bushes and, you know, Jabari Greer and these other guys who weren't here 5 years ago, who are so much now a part of this community.
And for all the naysayers, I guess Drew Brees can say, how you like me now? You know? This is the moment that let's listen. Yeah, that chant that Drew Brees is famous for at the beginning of every game, he kind of revisited that in a new way.
I'm not sure he was involved in that semicircle.
I know, terrific. And you know, all these big football players who are supposed to be so macho, hugging and kissing is allowed on this night. Everybody is getting a lot of hugs and kisses.
Well, I think all over metropolitan New Orleans and the Gulf South, you just reached out and hugged whoever was next to you.
Tom Benson had to be loving this. And there's that boogie.
Next to Chris Myers from Fox Sports, the guy who coined the phrase, actually. And as you know, as you look at people like Darren Sharper and Sean Payton and the others who, you know, these names now household names in New Orleans, as they soak up this moment, I can't imagine what goes through your mind.
And when you're thinking about, everyone says it was fate that we go to the Super Bowl this year, and really the way things played out, it sort of was. When the coin toss happened, you remember, John, I ran in the other room and shut my ears because I was like, oh no, we're not going to get it. And then we got it, and then the, you know, the interception that we got in the nick of time. I mean, it was all just like a well-planned miracle. It's just wonderful.
And then that moment that we have seen so often in national championship games, Sugar Bowl games, Super Bowls in New Orleans, but, you know, for the most part, a couple of LSU events, but for the most part, somebody else's celebration, and tonight it was ours.
Oh, look at Drew Brees just feeling the love. And you notice, look at the people still in the stands. I mean, they stayed through all of this celebration and a little while longer. They wanted to soak all this up. And for them to have, I'm trying to listen to see if we can hear it. You were saying earlier, what rules that they have to bend to get Deuce to be able to do that presentation.
Yeah, I want to know what NFL official gave up his position in order for Deuce to be able to do that. I guess they arranged that in advance, obviously. And we'll just listen a bit to the crowd. Again, this is raw, mostly unedited video that we've just put into our system here as we've had our crews come back. Drew Brees holding up the George Halas Trophy, the trophy for the National Football Conference champions, the next goal, the Lombardi Trophy.
Night these guys will remember for the rest of their lives, and I guess if you're on the losing end, that interception is going to be what Brett Favre remembers over and over again, saying, "Oh, if only it had been different." Well, as you know, as somebody put it, Drew Brees beat the story. The Saints beat the story because I think that, you know, it made sense that the national media would jump on sort of the Brett Favre bandwagon. It was certainly something that was annoying to be a Saints fan and see that. I will tell you that as abusive as the Chicago Bears fans were 3 years ago to Saints fans, there was a lot of backlash in Chicago when the Saints were the Cinderella team and there was all this discussion of the role they were on, and a lot of Chicago fans took it to an extreme but took great offense at the fuss being made about the Saints. I think in this case, you know, this team seems to kind of thrive on maybe being the underdog, and certainly, you know, they are now 15-3. There was all this discussion of going 13-0 and then 13-3, and they were being dogged by some of the experts. And you know, I remember one of the guys who's one of the most highly regarded sports columnists in America predicted at the beginning of the season the Saints would be 7-9, 8-8. So, you know, there's a reason they play the game, and there's so much parity as is talked about in the NFL. This team, the addition of Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, it's been this chemistry they've had, and they've put the right pieces together finally after 43 years. As we see, it was Darren Sharper, wasn't it? Yes.
Who took the trophy and ran around and shared it with the fans.
He said he wanted to touch every single hand on that bottom row to say thank you to these fans who have really, you know, had faith.
Let's just listen in for a moment. Nation. Bear in mind, this whole clip runs about 8 minutes. Obviously, this whole event took place, we're talking here about 20 minutes, maybe even 25 minutes of activity after the game from the little bit of time we've condensed. And you can see thousands and thousands of people still hanging on, watching this. It'll be fascinating, I think, tomorrow to see what the television ratings are from Nielsen. As we've talked about this evening, the hit television show of the fall. probably looking at certainly way up in the the 60 range of a rating. If you had a neighborhood of 100 homes, 60 would be tuned in.
It'll be nice to hear what the national story is too. Will it be 40-year-old Brett Favre, hurt and out? And I know it's going to be us going to the Super Bowl. It'd be nice to be the star of the story for a change.
Well, it kind of shifted a little bit, and I think the players may have had something of a role tonight. It was interesting to watch, and we remarked, so often in this business, you're listening to a news conference with a little bit of embarrassment as you listen to the dumb questions that sometimes can be asked. And I thought they were pretty good questions
they were really
tonight.
Good questions.
And a lot of what they brought out was maybe we're all just homers tonight, but I think that there was a real, genuine, heartfelt feeling from the players that the media seemed to be getting of what the connection between this team and the city.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a direct correlation with our revival, the Saints revival. It just sort of came all together, and it's a nice, not quite ending yet, but we're pretty close.
We won't throw the whole thing at you again, but I would like to see just the very beginning of that, if we can, guys, again, to violate the cardinal sin at almost 1:30 in the morning that you never direct from the set, because I thought it was the first 30 seconds were really electric. If we can cue that up at some point. And Arnie Filko, who is from Green Bay, the city councilman, used to work with the Saints, talked about the connection between this city and felt it was stronger than the connection in Green Bay. And when he said that, I thought several years ago, boy, I don't know about that.
Cheeseheads, but yeah.
And I think it's there. Let's just watch again. Garrett Hartley, and during the course of the game, there was so much discussion. I think at one point the commentators were saying, we're talking about the disparity in the kicking game, and here's this second-year player who's been through so much, who is the hero of the game, or one of the heroes of the game, and came through in a way that a lot of people maybe doubted that he could.
Yeah, he said he called his dad early in the morning and said, Dad, I think this is what's going to happen. I'm going to have, like, on the 40-yard line, I'm going to make this punt. And punt, make this kick, and it happened just like he dreamed.
He was envisioning a punt or a kick from the 42-yard line right hash mark, and it turned out to be the 40-yard line. And I will tell you, my son and I, about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, went on a high school stadium and started playing around. And you see these, we take it for granted these guys kick extra points. Have you ever looked at a 40-yard field goal? It's from here to a mile away. I mean, hard. It's euphemistically, it's just, you look at it and you really get an appreciation with an extra point for the talent that's involved in doing this one after the other. And I thought the coach's point was interesting, where apparently what he said to him was, you see that fleur-de-lis in the middle there? Just pick that. Why don't you hit that? As opposed to concentrating on
on one small thing. But yeah, we all see these big yellow poles, and we go, oh, that should be easy, but it's not. It's like threading a needle. Let's go to Jennifer Van Vranken now live.
Sign on the door, but the sign that says they were going to sell Saints goods is now over a closed store. The last few people just filed out and basically said, "Hoot it!" They got their shirts. They're going home. They said they're tired. They're going to bed now. So it seems like people are winding down at this point. We did catch up with a bunch of people in the store earlier tonight buying their championship shirts. And here's a little bit of what one of the customers inside had to say.
I've got history here, and I want to be part of it. And not only that, we have friends and relatives that live out of state, and they are calling us and telling us that they want their shirt. So we're picking it up for everybody.
What do you have?
Well, right now we got some decals. I got the hat and all the T-shirts. And like I said, we're just trying to get a list of everything what everybody wants. So we're a very proud city right now.
All All right, so that was the scene. We heard people, and of course, instead of just the Who Dat chant, now they're singing about black and gold Super Bowl. So this city, as you all have been saying all night long, is just out of control excited. One lady I heard, she actually was yelling to our truck, and she said, "Thank y'all," because she was in bed getting ready to go to sleep, saw that we were out here doing live shots and showing people buying these championship shirts, and was so excited she said she got out of bed to come get one. So this city is just out of control, happy right now, and I think this is going to extend through the Super Bowl, through Mardi Gras. The city is just on a high, and well-deservedly so. It's been a long time in coming. John and Nancy?
I would say so, Jennifer. Thank you. You know, the game will be played in Miami. I'm not so sure the story won't be here.
It's going to be here. Yeah, just like tonight is a preview of what a win is going to be like. I'm afraid of what the win is going to be like.
Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, no, I want to win.
Oh, I know. I
understand. Yeah, it's going to be just wild.
We'll have some closing thoughts in just a moment.
Baby, get ready, 'cause here comes the big bang. Superdome filling up 'cause of the big game. Chill out, champagne, black and gold. Ain't never looked better than it does now. Western MC's march into history. The Bayou boys gonna lead us to victory. Tell you right now, it's gonna be bigger than anything we've been through before. There's a big thing happening here in New Orleans, and it feels so good to know it's our time to win. And they ain't just marching, no, they're thundering in. 'Cause the Saints on Fox 8, yeah, the Saints are getting ready for the big thing. Hey, everybody getting all up for the big game. Downtown, uptown, city is insane. Hope shakes his game, Saints already this time. They're gonna go all the way. It's hot, gonna be a party. Right here, right now, gonna get started. Everybody all around America is gonna see what we're all about. There's a big thing happening here in New Orleans, and it feels so good to know it's our time to win. And they ain't just marching, they're thundering in. 'Cause the Saints on Fox 8, yeah, the Saints are getting ready for the big thing.
It's been a long time coming. The moment is clear. It's finally here. Ooh, when you believe in something hard enough, your faith will never give up.
Glade Sense and Spray. Smart. It has a motion sensor, which means it goes off only when it senses movement to give a burst of fresh Glade fragrance only when you need it. But it's not wasteful because it won't go off again for another 30 minutes. Unless, of course, you press the boost button.
Very smart.
Motion-activated Sense and Spray.
Very smart. And yes, it's Glade.
Fight even the toughest bathroom odors with new clear springs.
SC Johnson, a family company.
Did you rinse this morning? If you did, your mouth will thank you. Listerine doesn't just put a spring in your step, it also significantly reduces gingivitis and plaque. Say goodbye to germs. And say good morning to Listerine.
We use hand sanitizers all day, but the alcohol dries my hands.
Finally, an alcohol-free sanitizer from Gold Bond. Kills 99% of germs without drying, then moisturizes like lotion. New Gold Bond Hand Sanitizer Moisturizer. Kills germs.
Loves your hands.
Overly sensitive skin? You would never know. Introducing Aveeno Ultra Calming with Active Naturals Feverfew.
We know Feverfew has properties that help neutralize irritation to strengthen skin and calm redness in just 1 week.
Discover new Aveeno Ultra Calming.
To demonstrate the versatility of Pledge Multi-Surface, we've placed Haley in this glass box and asked her to
Excuse
clean...
me, I gotta get my kids soon. I don't have time to clean all this.
No worries. Pledge Multi-Surface is fast and effective.
Nice.
Quickly cleaning all these surfaces.
Fast. Wow, I'm done. Oh, sorry.
Clean more. Faster. That's the beauty of Pledge Multi-Surface. SC Johnson, a family company.
We've secretly replaced this man's old car insurance with Esurance. Let's see what happens when he reads his statement.
Oh, yeah! All right.
Apparently, saving money agrees with him. The Switch and Save discount only from Esurance. People seem to like it. Call or click today.
Happiness starts with healthiness, and healthiness starts at PetSmart. That's why you can always find the right food for your pet's exact needs, including specialty brands, convenient in-store services for their well-being, and a unique selection of toys for fun-loving fitness, all at an affordable price. At PetSmart, we do everything we can to help you keep them healthy and happy for a long, long time. PetSmart, we love to see healthy, happy pets.
To help avoid cavities and root canals, I use ACT, the fluoride mouthwash dentists recommend.
ACT Restoring works with calcium to rebuild enamel, making it twice as strong. That's why dentists recommend ACT Restoring mouthwash.
To help avoid dental problems, ACT Daily.
You're watching the NFC Champion Saints postgame show on Fox 8.
A lot of people are not getting a lot of sleep tonight.
Shelley Brown has some of the crowd downtown.
Some people, John and Nancy, they're just getting started. They watched the game at home. They maybe didn't have tickets or watched it at a restaurant, and they're just now getting out here. We're right behind Harris Casino at Poydras in South Peters because we couldn't get to Canal Street earlier. I found a couple, Jason and Liz. You guys watched it at home. You're feeling really good right now?
All day.
You, obviously a Saints fan. You're from New Orleans.
Yes.
But your friend here, Liz, or girlfriend, I should say, from Indianapolis.
I am from Indianapolis. I just moved here to New Orleans.
And our producer was just asking you, you're not a Colts fan, you're a Saints fan?
I love my Colts, but Reggie Bush all the way. Go Saints.
A black and gold Super Bowl.
Yes, Saints fan. Guess what? Ticket holder, 4 years. I'll never give it up. Miami, I'm on my way. We are too. Miami, here we come. Here we come, Miami. We're going to Miami.
Are you all just getting started for the night?
No, we've been out for a while.
You have school tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'm flying back to school tomorrow. I'm going up to Providence. Good luck to you.
I've got a 6:30 class.
Yeah. Oh, you better get some rest.
Baton Rouge at LSU. Woo!
You need to stay up all night, right?
Yeah. Pretty much. We're going to get some beignets. So.
Miami. Miami.
Yeah. Woo! Like that song. John and Nancy, we're going to send it back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Shelley. And if you think that was crazy, check out the French Quarter.
Natasha Robin, one final thought from you, Natasha.
Well, it's still wild here in the French Quarter, but you know, tonight really is a dream come true for so many Houdads who have, in some cases, waited 43 years for a ticket to the Super Bowl. And Bourbon Street became the gathering place for all of those fans to celebrate and just enjoy this moment. The party will no doubt continue, maybe even until sunup. And this night has meant so much to the city's economy and to the city's psyche. We've seen folks crying, hugging, and just in shock, John and Nancy. And the greatest moments tonight, not just in the Superdome, but here in the French Quarter, here in Bourbon Street, where so many people came, gathered with family and friends to really just enjoy the night and enjoy this win and the ticket to the Super Bowl. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Natasha Robin. 71,276 people saw it in person, an all-time record for a Saints game.
Yeah, and Drew Brees said tonight that our city is one that leans on each other to survive. And tonight our team survived in the toughest of times and flourished. And tonight the city's just reveling in it.
And speaking of teams, we have our new team of Kim Holden, Rob Masson, Chris Franklin, and Dawn Brown joining them tomorrow. They'll have all of the excitement of the reaction beginning at 6 o'clock. In the meantime, the Saints at the Promised Land. People have talked for years about getting there. They are one victory away from the absolute pinnacle of American sports. And as Big Sam says in The Big Thing, it was a long time coming. Thanks for watching. Good night.
3 years later, faith is finally justified, bringing tears not of frustration, but of pure joy. Tears that some had been holding back since their dream began in a stadium that lives only in memory. To celebrate the crowning of the new NFC champions, proud members of the Houdat Nation. For some, home at the Dome has never tasted so sweet. Countless others were there in spirit.
Well, Buddy D, we're going to bring one to you.
A roller coaster journey over 4 decades, heartbreaking detours along the way, now is filed away in football history. Next year is now. The dream season was for real.
Favre sprints to his right, throws back across the
But go ahead, pinch yourself. You're not dreaming anymore.
Tails, you won the toss. You want to receive?
The Saints truly are about to go marching in to a Super Bowl.
Hartley sends the Saints to the Super Bowl.
Okay. Ah! Oh.
Rally's got wings.